Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm 𝙎𝙐𝘽𝙎𝘾. Well, in the kingdom age of Israel, several kings stand out as the most memorable, and sadly, many of them are memorable for their wickedness. Now, the beginning of the kingdom was by far its most prosperous period, as mighty David established his rule by uniting the kingdom as a godly leader and a military expert. He began the golden age of Israel, and the golden age continued under David's son Solomon, the topic for this episode of A Moment in History. Solomon is a disputed character in the Old Testament. He was the wisest man who ever lived, and he spent the early part of his reign in complete devotion to God, but he turned away from the Lord later in life, following after many foreign women and their gods. Let's explore this controversial character now. Now, Solomon was actually born in scandal as the son of David and Bathsheba, after David had committed adultery with her and murdered her husband Uriah. Now, God, after punishing David by striking down the first child born to Bathsheba, gave David a son as an act of pure grace. And this son was Solomon, and as a young man, Solomon was chosen by an aged David to be the next king of Israel. Now, there was something of a familial civil war going on in the royal family at this time, where Solomon's half-brothers also sought the throne, but God had chosen Solomon to continue the royal line. And in roughly 970 BC, Solomon took the throne in Jerusalem. Now, Solomon's high point in his reign was early on, when God visited him in a vision and revealed that he would give young Solomon anything he asked for. Solomon, humble and reliant on God, asked not for riches or power, but for wisdom. And God blessed Solomon because of his humility and gave him wisdom along with that which he did not ask for, wealth and power. And under Solomon, Israel became wealthy and powerful. Now, where David's reign was mainly focused on building Israel's dynasty, Solomon's enjoyed it. Check out the first 10 chapters of 1 Kings to get a real picture of just how extravagant Solomon was. Now, unfortunately, even the wisest among us can be led astray, and that is what happened to Solomon in his later life. He had a massive harem consisting of 700 wives and 300 concubines, and many of these women, being foreigners, led his heart to idols and away from the God of the Bible. Because of this, God tore the kingdom in two under the reign of Solomon's son Rehoboam. But the story of Solomon does not end in despair. Most historians agree that at the end of his life, Solomon rejected his worldly pleasures and returned to obedience to God. And evidence for this is found in his authorship of the book of Ecclesiastes, which he wrote at the end of his life after trying to find pleasure in all the wrong places. And his final argument, which reverberates throughout the book of Ecclesiastes, is this: above all, fear God and keep his commandments, for that is the whole duty of man. Solomon reigned like his father David for 40 years, and he likely died in the year 930 BC. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button, and if you are a lover of history, hit subscribe for all of our latest content.